I'm Azra. I'm Ihan's friend, and Ihan is a policymaker at Ministry of Manpower.
Hi, I'm Ihan. I'm from the Workplace Policy and Strategy Division. So, Azra, what do you think I do at work?
I don't know, you send a lot of emails, but I'm not sure who you send it to and why.
Right, I do policy making at MOM, and I focus mainly on low-wage workers' policies. So perhaps we can take a look at what I do on a daily basis.
Yeah, sure, let's take a look.
Thanks for joining for today's discussion. What I have on the screen here is the number of full-time resident workers. And
How often do these meetings happen?
usually these meetings happen before the start of any of the policy work. We usually need to identify some of the existing trends or use some of the existing data sets that are available first to take a look and to see whether it sort of validates some of the policy direction that we are asked to look at.
So who are the other stakeholders that you work with in collecting the data and maybe like analysing such data?
Yeah, so some of these data are actually public data. Perhaps we are interested in things like the age profile, right? Whether they are older workers or younger workers, or maybe we are interested in which sectors that they are working in. Because the policy team is quite small, right? But then we are actually looking at quite a big group of people. So that's where the stakeholders come in. We actually engage a lot of people, both internally within MOM and externally outside of MOM. Within MOM, for example, there is actually a data division that we could go over to ask them if they have additional data that can help us to break down all these things to understand the situation better. We also engage union representatives that look after the workers in the specific sectors that we are looking at, as well as employer associations and employer reps. They all value add to this policy making process because of their different insights and the different experiences.
Hi Ihan.
Hey, hi.
I've got the infographics on the progressive wages.
Yeah.
So maybe we can just go through and see what we want to emphasize or
Sure.
improve. Okay, we've already increased the impact figure to show the wage growth percentage.
Yep.
And I think we've highlighted there will be wage increases, productivity gains.
We have used phrases that are actually quite relevant to progressive wages, so things like wage increases as well as upskilling and productivity. So these are useful.
It looks like you are doing a bit of advertisement.
Yes, actually that is essentially what that is. That infographics that you see actually ended up on the newspaper that was published so that we can inform people about the work that we do as well as how low-wage workers can benefit from some of these policies that we have.
There seems to be a lot of thought, not only for the problem or the solution, then how to communicate this to members of the public.
Just changing something doesn't really work, right? You obviously need to tell people what the policy is, how it benefits them, and it can also give feedback subsequently, right? Whether or not certain things are sufficient or whether or not it's being done properly on the ground.
Oh, so your job also entails preparing for the meetings?
Yes. A lot of these meetings sometimes are internal, sometimes are external. So internal meetings are obviously there to get some direction and some discussion on some of the policy to understand what are some of the different perspectives that perhaps our bosses actually have. And if it's an external meeting, then sometimes it might be an information gathering one or it might be an information session.
Let's say your bosses say, okay, good, this is a wonderful idea. How do you get your policies approved for implementation?
Different kind of policies will require different levels of clearance. We will have an internal discussion with our directors or deputy directors to have an initial sense and some ideas and guidance of whether or not this is really in line with the issues that we have identified to solve, as well as also whether it's in line with the other ongoing policies that are happening in the ministry. It will then be really pushed up to the different layers within the government and subsequently even to the Minister for Manpower to take a look, and where needed, he might potentially have to bring it to his government cabinet ministers.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ihan from MOM, and today I'll be briefing you on the progressive wage moves.
So, what are the in-house PWM wages?
I just want to know, how do you guys actually determine all these wages?
Is the government going to provide any support to implement this adjustment?
Yes, so for the new policy,
Who are you meeting here?
So this is an employer engagement that we do, and in the course of our work, we engage employers for different reasons. Sometimes it's when we already rolled out our policies, and we would like to do an information session with employers so that we help them understand what these policies are about, to address and allay any of their concerns. At the same time, garner some feedback to see whether or not there are certain aspects that we are not really communicating well. Really, I find that where it is important to reassure people, try to really understand people's concerns so that we are better able to help them and address their issues.
How do you feel when you read through all these comments about the policies that you've worked on?
What is important, at least really in relation to the policy itself, is to really understand why people are giving the feedback that they're giving. Sometimes it could be because they don't really understand the policy itself. The question then is, could we do more to actually help people understand the policies better? There could also be feedback that we can also use to look at to see whether some of the concerns maybe are genuine, whether or not it could fit into maybe a next phase of policy review, so that we can improve certain things that maybe affects maybe a portion of people that we actually do intend to help. Yeah.
So it sounds like a very challenging task that you do at work. So what's the best part of it?
What I enjoy really is working with different people, both within MOM and outside MOM. I've also formed relationships with many of the various stakeholders in the different organizations. It is very interesting to learn about their role and responsibilities and be part of these processes that contribute to some of the things that we roll out.
So before this, you were teaching, right? What inspired you to change track and go into MOM?
When we were in schools, we also see security officers, cleaners, basically low-wage workers, right? I thought that I could actually contribute to policy making that benefits some of these workers. A lot more thought and a lot more consideration that needs to be put into place when making some decisions, because then many more people are going to be affected or hopefully benefit by some of these changes that we introduced.
The impact is definitely greater.
Yes. So much larger group of people, much larger impact.
Hi, I'm Azra and this is Ihan. He crafts policies to help lower wage workers at the Ministry of Manpower. Correct or not?
That's right.